The galaxy had seen many wars. Empires had risen, civilizations had fallen, worlds had burned, and new ones had taken their place. For thousands of years, war was nothing new. It was expected. It was normal. But this time, something felt different. Something felt wrong. Because this time, it involved humans, and the galaxy did not yet understand what that truly meant. It started with silence. A quiet, small silence. Easy to ignore at first. Colony Eden 47 stopped responding. No distress signal, no warning, no final message. Just silence. At first, no one panicked. Colonies lost contact sometimes. It happened. Storms, system failures, communication errors. The Galactic Council marked it as a minor issue. They would check it later. There was no rush. There was never a rush until it was too late. Days passed, then weeks. Still no signal. That was when someone finally noticed. A human representative asked a simple question. Why is Eden 47 still offline? No one had a good answer. So the council sent a scout ship. A small one. Fast. Quiet. Disposable. Its job was simple. Go there. Check. Report back. Nothing more. The scout ship entered the system. For a moment, everything seemed normal. The star was stable. The planets were in place. No signs of battle. No signals of danger. Then the ship moved closer to the colony world, and everything changed. The pilot sent one message, only 3 words. Something is wrong. Then, silence. The signal cut. The ship was gone. No explosion. No distress call. Just gone. Now the council was no longer calm. Now there was tension, fear, confusion. 2 disappearances were no longer an accident. Something was happening. Something dangerous. This time they did not send a ship. They sent a probe, unmanned, cold, watching, recording everything. It entered the system slowly, carefully, as if the system itself was a trap. The probe reached orbit, and then it saw the truth. The colony was not empty. It was destroyed, completely destroyed. Cities were gone, not damaged, not broken, gone. Ooh, gone. Burned so hard that the ground had turned to glass. Huge black scars covered the land. As if the planet itself had been wounded. The oceans were dark, not blue, not alive, poisoned, dead. Nothing moved inside them. Nothing lived. Orbit was worse. Broken satellites drifted in silence. Shattered stations floated like ghosts. Pieces of ships, human ships, were scattered everywhere, and among them bodies. Bodies, thousands of them, frozen in space, still, silent, forgotten. The probe recorded everything, every detail, every horror. Then it looked up. And that was when it saw them. Ships. Alien ships. They were not hiding. They were not leaving. They were just there, floating above the dead world. Watching. Waiting. They were large. Dark. Dark. Dating. They were large. Covered in strange shapes and weapons. Nothing like human designs. Nothing like anything the council had seen before. And there were many of them. Not a small attack force. Not a scouting group. A fleet. A full war fleet. The probe tried to stay hidden. But it didn't matter. They already knew. One of the alien ships moved, slowly, deliberately. It turned toward the probe, as if it was looking directly at it. Then a signal was sent. Strong, clear, impossible to ignore. The message reached the probe. Then it spread across the entire galactic network. Every system, every station, every world heard the same words. This system now belongs to us. No anger, no threat, no emotion. Just a statement, cold. Simple, final. The galaxy went silent. No one spoke. No one moved. Because everyone understood what this meant. A new power had arrived. A dangerous one. One that did not ask. One that simply took. But there was one thing they did not understand. One small detail they had missed. One mistake that would change everything. That world, Eden 47, was not just another colony. It was human. And humans were very different from the rest of the galaxy. They could forgive, they could negotiate, they could wait. But when someone destroyed their people, when someone took what was theirs, when someone crossed that line, humans did not stay silent. And soon, the galaxy would learn exactly what that meant. The message spread across the galaxy like fire. Every system heard it. Every leader saw it. Every species understood one thing. A line had been crossed. The Galactic Council called an emergency meeting. For the first time in many cycles, every seat was filled. Even races that never attended came. Because this was not a small event. A colony had been destroyed. Not attacked, not captured, destroyed. The council chambers were full of noise. Voices argued. Leaders blamed each other. Some demanded war. Others called for calm. But one group said nothing. The humans, they sat in silence. No anger, no panic, no fear. Just watching. Finally, the high speaker of the council spoke. "We must respond carefully," he said. "We do not know this enemy." Some agreed, others did not, but all eyes slowly turned toward the human delegate. He stood up, slowly, calmly, and when he spoke his voice was quiet, but every word carried weight. Eden 47 was a civilian colony, he said. No military, no defenses. The chamber grew quiet. "We ask one thing," he continued. "Who did this?" The council had no answer, but the probe did. The data was shared. Images filled the chamber, burned cities, dead oceans, broken ships, and above them, the alien fleet. The name came soon after, the Kreis Dominion, an old empire, dangerous, cold. They had taken systems before, destroyed worlds before, but never like this. Never so complete, never so plentiful. A second message arrived. This time it came directly from the Kreis, broadcast to all. "This system is now ours," the message repeated. "Any who enter will be destroyed." Some species backed away immediately. They knew the Kreis. They knew what they were capable of. But humanity did not move. Instead, the human delegate sent a reply. Short, simple, clear. "Leave the system." The chamber froze. Some leaders looked shocked. Others looked afraid. "You cannot speak to them like that," one council member said. "They will see it as a challenge." The human did not react. "They already made it a war," he replied. The message was sent. It reached the Kreis fleet, and for a moment, there was silence. Then the Kreis answered. Their response was not long, it was not polite, it was not careful, it was a laugh. A deep, distorted sound filled every channel. Cold, mocking, cruel. "Humans," the Kreis voice said. "You are new." Images followed, not of Eden 47, but of other worlds, destroyed worlds, hundreds of them. "We have taken many systems," the voice continued. "You are nothing special." Then came the final words, the mistake. "Send more colonies," the Prestil. "Send more colonies," the Kreis said. "We will take those too." The transmission ended. Silence returned to the council. But this time, it felt heavier, darker. Some leaders looked at the humans with fear, others with pity. "You should stand down," one said. "Save your people." But the human delegate did not sit. He did not argue. He did not shout. He simply looked at the council. Then he spoke, one last time. "We were not asking," he said. And then he left. No explanation, no warning, no emotion. Just gone. Within hours, something changed. Across human space, traffic stopped. Trade routes went quiet. Civilian ships disappeared from public channels. Military signals increased. Shipyards that had been silent for years came alive. Factories began working without rest. Old fleets were called back into service. New fleets were built, fast, very fast. The council tried to track it, to count it, to understand it. They failed, because humanity stopped sharing data, stopped reporting, stopped communicating. To the rest of the galaxy, humans vanished. Days passed, then weeks. No messages, no updates, no warnings. Only one thing remained: movement. Deep inside human territory, something massive was growing, something hidden, something powerful, and no one knew how big it was. Then, one by one, human outposts near the border went dark, not destroyed, not attacked, closed, like doors being locked before a storm. The galaxy began to feel it. That same feeling again. Something was coming. Not a small response, not a simple war. Something bigger, something worse. And far away, near the dead world of Eden 47, the Kreis fleet still waited. Confident, unmoving, unafraid. They believed the matter was over. They believed humanity would stay quiet. They were wrong. Because in the darkness of space, where no one was looking, where no one could see, humanity was preparing. And when they returned, they would not come with words. They would come with something else. Something the galaxy had never seen before. The galaxy waited. Days passed. Then more days. Still nothing. No human message. No human ships. No human ships. No movement at the borders. At first, many believed it was over. Maybe humans had chosen peace. Maybe they had accepted the loss. Maybe they were afraid. But the older races knew better. They had seen this before, not from humans, but from predators. Silence before the strike. Inside the Galactic Council, tension grew. Scouts were sent near human space, but they were stopped, not attacked, not destroyed, stopped. A single automated signal blocked their path. Cold, clear, final. Restricted zone, turn back. Restricted zone, turn back. Nothing more. Even the bravest captains obeyed, because something about that message felt different. Behind that invisible wall, human space had changed. Factories burned day and night. Massive shipyards stretched across entire planets. Asteroid belts were stripped for metal. Moons were broken apart. Even old stations, long abandoned, were brought back to life. Everything had one purpose: war. But this was not normal war preparation. This was something else, something deeper. Humans were not just building ships. They were building fleets. Thousands of ships left the shipyards every day. Then thousands more. Some were small and fast. Some were massive, like moving cities. Others did not match any known design. Weapons were upgraded. Armor was reinforced. Engines were pushed beyond safe limits. Safety rules were ignored. Limits were removed. Humans were not preparing for defense. They were preparing for destruction. Deep inside their command networks, plans were formed. Cold plans. Precise plans. Every Kreth system was mapped. Every defense studied. Every weakness marked. Nothing was left to chance. Back in Kreth space, they were watching. At first, they found the silence amusing. "See," one Kreth commander said. "They hide." Their fleet stayed near Eden 47, guarding their new territory, waiting for any human response. But none came. Weeks turned into months. Some Kreth forces moved deeper into nearby systems, taking more space, expanding. Still no humans. Their confidence grew. "They are weak," another commander said. "They do not fight." But not all of them believed this. One Kreth observer watched the empty space carefully. He noticed something strange. Human signals were gone. Completely gone. Not reduced. Not hidden. Gone. "That is not fear," he said quietly. "That is preparation." No one listened, because victory had already blinded them. Then it happened. Far from any major system, at the edge of known space, something appeared, a flash, small, quick, then another, then more. At first it looked like stars flickering, but stars do not move. These lights did. Sensors picked it up. Energy readings. Massive ones. Then space itself began to tear. A small opening formed, a circle of bright blue light, spinning, growing, a wormhole. Then another opened beside it. Then 10, then 100. Within minutes, thousands of wormholes filled the darkness. The galaxy had never seen anything like it, and from the first one, something emerged. A ship. Huge, dark, covered in weapons. Then another followed, and another. Soon the space beyond the wormholes was no longer empty. It was filled. Ships, human ships. Lines of them, rows of them, endless waves of them. They did not rush. They did not scatter. They formed, perfect formation, silent, controlled. Every movement matched, every position exact. Then more ships came, and more. The count started. Observers tried to measure it. 10,000, then 50,000, then 100,000. The numbers did not stop. Across multiple regions of space, the same thing was happening. More wormholes, more fleets, more ships. It was not one attack point. It was everywhere. The truth became clear. This was not a fleet. This was an armada. A force so large it could not be measured. Messages rushed across the galaxy. Emergency alerts, panic warnings. The humans are moving. They are everywhere. This is not a defense. This is an invasion. Back at the Galactic Council, silence returned. But this time, it was fear. Because now they understood. Humans had not been hiding. They had been preparing. And now, they were done preparing. Near Eden 47, the Kreth fleet finally noticed something. Sensors detected movement, far away, but growing. One commander looked at the readings, then looked again. His voice was no longer confident. "What is that?" Because what he saw was not a small fleet, not even a large one. It was something else, something impossible, something terrifying. And as the first wave of human ships moved forward, the truth became clear. Humanity was no longer coming to talk. They were coming to end it. The Kreth fleet moved first. They had to. For the first time, they were unsure. Sensors screamed warnings, energy spikes, mass readings, movement across every direction. The human fleets were not coming from one side, they were coming from all sides. That is not possible, one Kreth commander said. But the data did not lie. Thousands of human ships formed lines in deep space. Then more appeared behind them, then more again. The darkness between stars was no longer empty. It was filled. Prepare all weapons, the Kreth leader ordered. His voice was strong, but inside something had changed. For the first time he felt doubt. The Kreth ships powered up, weapons charged, shields expanded. They had fought many wars. They had destroyed many worlds. But this felt different. Across the battlefield, the human fleet stopped. They did not rush forward. They did not attack. They waited. A single signal moved through their ranks. Fast, silent, perfect. Every human ship turned at the same time, facing the Kreth fleet. Then a message was sent. Not to the Council, not to the galaxy, only to the Kreth. Leave the system. The same message, the same words. But this time, it was not a warning. It was the last chance. The Kreth commanders saw the message. Some hesitated. Some stayed silent. But their leader chose pride. We do not retreat, he said. Fire. The battle began. Kreth weapons lit the darkness. Massive beams of energy cut through space. Missiles followed, fast, bright, deadly. They struck the front line of human ships. Explosions filled the void. Light flashed across the battlefield. For a moment, it looked like the Kreth had the advantage. Then the smoke cleared. The human ships were still there. Their shields held. Their formation did not break. No panic, no retreat, only silence. Then the humans answered. A single line of ships fired. Not wild, not random, precise. Their weapons moved like they had one mind. Kreth ships exploded one by one. Clean hits, no wasted shots. Another line fired, then another. Each attack removed targets with perfect accuracy. The Kreth tried to respond, but their formations broke. They were not fighting one fleet. They were fighting many. Human ships moved in patterns. Groups split, groups merged. Every move had purpose. Every action had timing. It was not chaos. It was control. Flank them, a Kreth commander shouted. But before the order finished, human ships were already there, blocking, waiting. It was like they knew every move before it happened. The Kreth numbers started to fall, slowly at first, then faster. Ships exploded across the battlefield. Fire and metal filled space. Still, the Kreth did not retreat. We have the numbers, their leader said. We will win. But he was wrong. Because more human ships were still arriving, more wormholes opened behind the battlefield, more fleets entered, fresh, untouched. The count kept growing. Observers across the galaxy watched in shock. They tried to understand the scale. The final number came through. 700,000 warships, all human, all in one war. Fear spread instantly. No empire has this power, one council member whispered. This is not a war. Another said, this is something else. Back in the battle, the Kreth line finally broke. Ships turned. Some tried to escape. Some tried to regroup. But the humans did not chase wildly. They closed every path, slowly, carefully, like a net tightening. The Kreth leader watched his fleet fall apart. His hands shook. This is impossible, he said. But it was happening, right in front of him. System after system went dark. Kreth defenses failed. Human ships moved forward. Step by step, no rush, no mistake, only one goal. Eden 47, the stolen system, the place where it all began. The human fleet entered orbit. The broken world below still burned, still silent, still dead. For a moment, the battle paused. All 700,000 ships held position, watching, remembering. Then a new signal spread across the human fleet. Not an order, not a command, a memory. Images of Eden 47. Before the destruction, before the silence, cities alive, oceans blue, people smiling. Then, darkness, fire, death. The signal ended. And in that moment, everything changed. The human fleet moved again. But now, there was no holding back. No more warnings. Only one thing remained: punishment. The war changed after Eden 47. Before that moment, the human fleet was controlled, precise, careful. Now, it became something else. Faster, stronger, unstoppable. The Kreth forces began to fall back. System after system. Defense lines broke. Outposts vanished. Every time they tried to regroup, the humans were already there. It did not matter where they ran. It did not matter how far. Human ships appeared from the front, from the sides, from behind, like shadows that could not be escaped. "This is not possible," a Kreth officer said. "We are losing too fast." But the data was clear. Their fleets were shrinking, fast. Entire battle groups disappeared in minutes. Command ships were destroyed with perfect accuracy. Supply lines were cut before they could react. The Kreth had never faced an enemy like this. They were used to fear, used to enemies running, used to easy victories. But humans did not run. They hunted. Deep inside Kreth space, panic began to spread. Civilian worlds sent emergency signals. Leaders demanded protection, but there was no protection left. The outer systems had fallen. The middle systems were under attack, and the human fleet was still growing. Reinforcements continued to arrive. Fresh ships entered the war every hour. "How many do they have?" one Kreth commander asked. No one answered, because no one knew. Meanwhile, human forces moved with cold purpose. They did not destroy everything. They targeted key points: military bases, shipyards, command centers. Every strike weakened the Kreth further. Every loss made the next battle easier. It was not random destruction. It was a plan, a perfect plan. At the center of it all was the Kreth home system, a massive world, heavily defended, surrounded by fleets and weapons. If that system fell, the war would end. The Kreth leaders knew this, so they pulled everything back. Every remaining ship, every defense platform, every weapon they had. "This is our final stand," their leader said. His voice was no longer proud, no longer strong. It carried fear. "We stop them here," he continued, "or we lose everything." Across the system, defenses activated. Massive cannons charged. Shield networks formed layers around the planet. Thousands of ships took position. It was everything they had left. And then the humans arrived. Not in waves, not in groups, all at once. Space tore open again. Hundreds of wormholes formed around the system, then thousands, and from them came the fleet, endless, silent, terrifying. The full force of humanity, 700,000 warships. They surrounded the system completely. No escape, no hidden path, just a wall of ships. The Kreth forces watched in silence. No one spoke, no one moved, because now they understood. This was not just revenge. This was judgment. The human fleet held position, weapons ready, engines quiet. They did not attack, they waited. Then a signal was sent. This time, not just to the Kreth, to everyone, every system, every species, every world. A single message. "Remember Eden 47. The words spread across the galaxy, and with them, the truth. This war was never about power, never about control. It was about one thing: what happens when you destroy a human world. Back in the Kreth command center, silence filled the room. Their leader looked at the screens, at the endless human fleet. His hands trembled. "We surrender," he said. The words felt heavy, unreal. The message was sent. It reached the human fleet. And for a moment, nothing happened. No movement. Nothing happened. No movement. No response. Just silence. The longest silence the galaxy had ever felt. Because no one knew what humanity would do next. Would they accept? Would they stop? Or would they finish what they started? The answer was coming. The Kreth waited. Their homeworld, their empire, their pride, everything stood at the center of a ring of fire. 700,000 human warships surrounded them. The numbers were impossible. Even the oldest Kreth generals could not comprehend it. Yet there they were, perfectly aligned, silent, patient. For hours, the humans did nothing. They did not fire. They did not move closer. They simply waited. The Kreth leadership panicked. "What are they doing?" One officer shouted. "They should attack. Strike now before we can reorganize." But it was too late. The humans did not need to rush. They did not need haste. Their power was already absolute. Every weapon, every fleet, every strategy had been planned long ago. The Kreth fleet realized something terrible. They were already trapped. Then the human command spoke, not over weapons channels, not through battle signals, through the universal galactic net. A single message, clear, direct. "Remember Eden 47. The words spread instantly across the Kreth empire. Shock, fear, confusion. They had underestimated humans. Inside the Kreth command centers, alarms screamed, lights flickered, and the generals argued. But their leader, the one who had ordered the destruction of Eden 47, could not speak. He had realized too late the consequences of his actions. For years, he had been proud of his empire, strong, invincible, merciless. Now, he watched it crumble, not by numbers, not by luck, but by the humans themselves. Humans did not start wars, but they always finished them. The first strike was not on the Kreth planet. It did not need to be. Human drones swarmed out from the front lines. Precision strikes hit communication arrays, defense grids, and orbital weapon stations. Ships exploded silently. Debris scattered across space. Every attack was controlled, calculated, and final. Then the humans moved closer. Not aggressively, not chaotically. They moved as one mind. Every ship synchronized, every fleet aligned, every weapon ready. The Kreth attempted a counterattack. Lasers cut across space. Missiles streaked forward. Energy cannons fired. But humans were everywhere at once. They blocked every line of fire, flanked every attacker, destroyed every formation before it could reach the main fleet. The Kreth fleets crumbled. Systems fell. Ships exploded. Defenses failed. The numbers were overwhelming. The precision, unstoppable. On the homeworld itself, the Kreth tried to negotiate. "We surrender," their leader finally shouted, hands shaking. For the first time, humanity paused. They did not immediately fire. They waited. Then a simple message went out from the human flagship: "We accept your surrender, but never forget." The Kreth realized the weight of it. Not just their fleet, not just their empire. The humans remembered every life, every colony, every world lost. Eden 47 was not just a name, it was a lesson. Across the galaxy, news of the human victory spread instantly. Other species watched, fearful. Some hoped humans might be merciful. No one doubted humanity's power again. In the aftermath, human fleets did not linger. They did not gloat. They did not occupy. They withdrew. The Kreth were left alive but humiliated, broken, and terrified. The message was clear. Humanity did not seek war, but anyone who crossed the line would face the consequences. In the weeks that followed, human fleets patrolled their borders, not aggressively, not as conquerors, just as guardians, to make sure no one repeated the mistakes of Eden 47. Stories of the battle spread. Legends grew. The humans, one elder said, do not forgive easily. They do not start wars, but when they finish them, the galaxy remembers. And so, humanity's reputation changed forever. A silent warning to every alien race: attack one human colony, and you will face humanity itself. 700,000 warships, one united mind, one unstoppable force. Eden 47 was destroyed, but its memory became humanity's power, and no one dared challenge them again. The galaxy had learned a lesson that would echo for centuries. Humans were not just survivors, they were the ultimate protectors of their own, and they would never forget.